In the new review, in this Sunday's Observer, some of Britain's leading novelists are sharing their thoughts on 13 years of New Labour. Today, we'll be taking that idea and moving it a little bit further, asking how has politics engaged with culture over the last 15 years, particularly popular culture? And ask also whether popular culture has affected politics itself.
I think it's really important to remember, I think if you're any younger than some of us here, you won't realise how awful the Tories were and how desperately out of touch with popular culture they were. So that when you've got Noel Gallagher going to number 10 and saying, I stayed up to watch the election through the night, and Blair says, well, obviously so did I, but I probably didn't use the same means that you did, and people suddenly said, oh, well, I understand the language this bloke's talking here.
97 is a big turning point for me in British culture. I don't think we can underestimate the impact of the coincidence, really, of New Labour coming in and the death of Princess Diana, really, which both of these are major threshold events. And I've seen an argument put, really, that a lot of the emotion involved in the Diana thing was probably in some way a displacement from, the end of the Thatcher years, in a way. And, that sacramental event involving celebrity, it seemed absolutely key for New Labour and a kind of new Britain.
But Blair had an aspect of his character where he could pull it off, not just because he was a great actor, but there was all that rock and roll aspect, pseudo as it might be. Ugly Rumours, his pop band, the guitar lying against the wall in number 10. If anyone could do it, Blair could do it.
So the idea of authenticity, is it the idea that people believe, or is it the fact that it's a compelling story that's most important?
Well, the classic bit of phoniness is Gordon claiming he listens to the Arctic Monkeys on his iPod. It does feel it's all been done before. We've seen it. There's a certain authenticity gap that's going on with politicians in general.
I don't think authenticity is so important as the ability to perform authenticity effectively. And in fact, the thing with Gordon Brown listening to the Arctic Monkeys, it may well be true, but like anything Brown says, it looks like a lie. It's almost the reverse of Blair in that way, because Blair could just perform things. So even when you knew he was lying, it still felt like he was telling the truth.
Gordon should stop listening to these spin doctors and the image advisor, and he should try and be himself, however unpalatable that might seem. Because people would, if they saw him as the kind of geeky guy who walks into closed doors and gets things muddled up when he speaks, but is trying to do his best for the country, and he's not bad at sums, that would come over much better.
I'd find that more endearing, as you said, just to be yourself, as awkward a mess as that might be. Sometimes it still provokes more response from younger people to see that it's someone genuine. From my point of view, as long as the appearance or the picture a politician is trying to paint of himself, as long as that isn't a substitute for their policies and principles.
How do they feel about celebrities peddling messages or bringing messages to people? So, celebrities as ambassadors.
They don't really have a choice, because if they want to reach out, given that most politicians are a turn-off as soon as they come on TV, they have to associate themselves with popular figures.
So celebrity comes in and stands in for, comes into that vacuum, doesn't it?
Because there isn't a big ideological chasm between the parties now and they're in the centre, they are going to try and differentiate themselves with marketing tricks. Right. Petrol, you used to have different offers, glasses, toy cars, all that kind of stuff, because frankly petrol's all the same, so they had to do that. And you're seeing that kind of marketing trick crossing over into politics to some degree.
If we were to switch it around, do we think there's much political engagement in popular culture?
You've got Coldplay, aren't they? Yes. I mean, they've almost become a joke in the sense that, oh God, he's going on about saving the world.
Yeah.
And I think to some extent it starts working against him. The Simpsons, which I think is still on the ball, does mock all these celebrity characters getting involved in saving the planet quite successfully.
But didn't Tony Blair feature in The Simpsons?
Exactly, they're really on the ball.
And Coldplay, the sort of most Blairite band imaginable, of just not only rehashing 60s pop music, but rehashing the popular music of 3 years ago and just doing a watered-down version of Oasis, a sort of slightly more palatable version. But I think what you saw then with people like Radiohead or Tom York is that he's, was very wary of being too obvious in what they were trying to say. And I think within English rock music, certainly there's been a generation of people who are very wary of pinning their colours to the mast, and they think it's a deeply uncool thing to do. And I think we're really scared off by what happened in '97, and they all distanced themselves from that very rapidly.
I remember, for example, hearing about a program in Argentina called The People's Candidate or something, and it was like a mix of X Factor and Pop Idol or something like that, and it was literally like a panel of judges. It was weekly vote outs, and the people at home voted for who's out, and the winner got to run for Congress in Argentina.
Do we think Cowell's a good thing? Do we think that if Simon Cowell was put in charge of the way the electoral process worked, that this would be a happier country?
There's an unprecedented level almost of reach that the X Factor has got. It is absolutely true that on a Monday morning, everyone practically will be talking about it, even if they've not seen it. Now, I think there's something just interesting about the fact you can still constitute a popular public space like that.
I'm sure, Mark, that you would agree that the acts that come out of those things are not made any more exciting or special or different or it's produced in the lowest common denominator,
No,
and it's the whole thing is a spectacle. It's
more the fact that you can channel attention and then it's still possible.
In terms of engagement,
that is with the lowest common denominator, but we don't know that wouldn't work with something else.
in terms of engagement, more people vote in X Factor than will vote in the general election, and they have to pay to vote. So he's not done a bad job, and there is something analogous to politics. You're saying it becomes the lowest common denominator, and it's all the same, and it's in the middle. So is politics.
Read some of Britain's finest novelists sharing their thoughts on 13 years of New Labour this Sunday, only in The Observer's new review.